Hi Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your Mercury retrograde reading for you. Now, I ask if this reading resonates with you. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up and also to subscribe to my channel. And if you would like to be notified whenever I upload new videos, and I upload all the time, just hit the bell notification button. And if you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will be listed and linked in the description box below. Now, before we begin this reading, just a reminder that if anybody solicits you in the comment box, pretending to be me, asking if you want a reading, that is not me. I will not be doing that. I am actually closed to private readings at this time. Okay, so with that said, let's clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds, letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as you enter into this safe and loving space. Now let's let the bowl sing as we see what the tarot has to say. I feel like I need one more ring. There we go. All right. How will Scorpio be affected by Mercury retrograde, January 30th to February 21st, 2021? How will Scorpio be affected by Mercury retrograde, January 30th to February 21st, 2021? How will Scorpio be affected by Mercury retrograde, January 30th to February 21st, 2021? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Fantastic. All right, and let's see what your chakra energy is for this time. How will Scorpio be affected by Mercury retrograde, January 30th to February 21st, 2021? How will Scorpio be affected by Mercury retrograde, January 30th to February 21st, 2021? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading, and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Fantastic. And what's really cool about Mercury retrograde is that you're going to start to be feeling the impact of it, especially if you're planet sensitive, star sensitive, as I am. You're going to start feeling this around January 15th is the time where the pre-retrograde period starts to happen. So if you're sitting there saying, I don't know why everything is so jumbled, why everything is so confusing, why it feels so much harder, we haven't even entered into Mercury retrograde yet, that's because this energy is coming in and it's affecting you just because of your sensitivity. So do be mindful of that during this time. So we have rebirth, which is the Earth Star Chakra, located 6 inches below your feet. We then have Mother Earth, which is again the Earth Star Chakra. And then we have personal power, the solar plexus chakra coming forward. And we're going to see how this equates to the tarot. The left-hand side is your inner self. The middle is your heart, your emotional self. The right-hand side, the public arena, the public self. So we have the Three of Air, the Three of Swords, the World, the Knight of Air, the Knight of Swords, the Empress. Oh, that's beautiful. You start and you end with a 3, but you start with a complex 3, kind of, it's almost a spiteful 3, and you end with a healing 3. So there's a sense that divinity watches over you. And part of this Mercury retrograde is to really look at the way words have wounded you, the way that, things have kind of held you back, that they don't have to be these physical wounds. They don't have to be these, the way people normally think of things that hurt us. It's going to be something much more emotional and much more kind of like it just gets into your head and it's just kind of seeped away your power. And we have the Three of Earth. You're on a 3 kick, so that's beautiful. You have the Strength card here. Then we have the Knight of Water, water sign energy, Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer. Of course, that's you coming through as a knight. You have the Knight of Air right with you. So your mind and your heart are working beautifully together. You have the Two of Earth. We have the Five of Fire, the 10 of Fire. So the 5 of Wands, the 10 of Wands. Life Experience, which is the Tower card, and the Ace of Earth. Okay, Ace of Pentacles. Intense? Yes. Nothing that you can't handle, though, which is absolutely brilliant. There's a lot that you've been carrying on your shoulders, Scorpio, that you're going to find you kind of like had enough. This is a time where I've been seeing there's just so much that can be put upon your shoulders. There's just so much that you can expect from yourself or that other people can expect from you. So this is a time where you're going to be looking at things and saying, you know what, no, I don't want to do this. No, I can't do this. No, this isn't me. And you're going to find that you're stepping out. And that is a real way that you're being reborn during this time. You're being reborn to the power that grounds you, to the power that nurtures you and leads you forward, and that you get to see more of within yourself. So you are being reborn. And rebirths are never the easy, nice, kind of, soft, comfortable thing that we want them to be. They come through the challenges that we've expected. And you're ending a 16-year cycle, 16-month cycle. You're really seeing yourself step out of the chaos and also what you've just been putting on your shoulders and saying, don't worry, I'll handle it. Don't worry, I'll handle it. This is a time where you're like, I don't want to handle it. And I won't be handling it anymore. Not that you're going to let things down or let people down, but it's kind of like I'm stepping back. And I can step back without feeling guilty or overwhelmed or angry at myself or like I'm not doing enough, because you're going to take people's comments and there's a sense here of you read deeper into them. It's not just what they say, but it's the tone of the way they say it. And there could just be frustration around you. So be very mindful of that during this time where you can react to things. And it's not going to just be what's said, but it's going to be the emotion that it brings up within you. It's going to be the doubt that is around you. And so here, when you ground yourself, it's going to be so important to ground yourself. Ground yourself in the essence of you. Ground yourself in... It's funny because it's saying earthly delights, and it can be in, kind of this abandon, these earthly delights that you get to experience and express, but also in the sense of the beauty of the earth that is around you. And that's going to be really quite important for you. Instead of looking at everything that you cannot do, you start to look at everything that you can do, and you start to redefine yourself. And also, instead of feeling guilty about things like about disabilities or about, not being quite like everybody else, instead of sitting there and saying, wow, that's like my fault, you're sitting there and saying, I'm moving forward in the way that is me. And I can't do it any other way, and I can't be any other person. And so this leads you to your personal power. This leads you to your expression of self, to your power of understanding, to your brilliance of truth. And this leads you to a place in your gut where you really start to see your power moving you forward. You start to see what you desire guiding you, helping you, transforming you. And this leads you to the energy during this time that you need to be mindful of. Let's see here. What is the energy that Scorpio needs to be mindful of during Mercury retrograde? What is the energy that Scorpio needs to be mindful of during Mercury retrograde? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Ooh, this one right here, definitely. Okay, fantastic. So the strength card comes through. Now you have strength in a very positive way. Here, this is in a negative way. This is that sense where you're just going to kind of like bite your lips together and keep on pushing forward. This is a sense of strength through determination, through anger, through aggression. And that's going to be something here, Scorpio, that just, you have to be mindful of falling into that trap because it can be very easy. Like nerves are on edge, things are on edge. You can find that you're being tested because what happens during Mercury retrograde is I've been reading the astrologer Erin Sullivan, and what she says is that, and she's found this really cool link between the time Mercury spends in retrograde, which is moving backwards, and the time that Mercury spends direct, moving forward, is equal to the time that human beings spend awake and asleep. So when we're in Mercury retrograde, this is a time where our subconscious self really comes forward and is saying, hey, remember this. Hey, look at this. Hey, this is where you need to be focusing on. This is what I want you to know. And it does it in a very kind of loud and at times overbearing way. So with strength, it is that strength through brute force. It is that strength through against any odds. I keep on pushing. This is going to be what you need to balance yourself in, because you can't just keep on pushing. During this time, you're going to find that you need to step back. And it's not going to be a bad thing. It's going to be a healthy you thing, that you get to step back and you get to take care of yourself and you get to kind of look at things and say, well, getting angry isn't helping. It's stealing my energy. And it leads you then to the Queen of Cups. The Queen of Cups is emotionally draining energy. So the Queen of Cups in the positive form is this emotional, beautiful, like big warm hug type of energy, focusing on the self, really letting blessings come in and being very receptive to these blessings. In the negative, it is being egocentric. It is looking at things only in chaos. And so stepping back, you're going to see, okay, how do I need to move myself forward? How do I need to embrace my power and my understanding and what it is that I'm looking for, and not get caught up in the drama of everything? Because during Mercury retrograde, for you, especially Scorpio, it's going to be very easy to be caught up in other people's dramas, to be caught up in the drama of your own life. And then the Prince of Wands is just this rashness, a sense of, well, you know what? I'm not going to think about it anymore. I'm just going to charge forward. What happens, happens. And excuse me, though there is something commendable about that, like saying, okay, just go, just do. There is also going to be a need to kind of step back and say, is this right for me? Is moving forward in this way to prove that, yes, like to prove something to myself? Or is it because I'm just being overly stubborn or overly focused on one thing? The thing that's coming up is, I remember when I was in college, I was taking this one course and it was the English novel. And I shouldn't have taken it, but I decided to. And the teacher said at the very beginning, she's like, you're going to be reading more, you're going to be doing more than you really ever had in any other course. So there is no shame in dropping this course and, just moving on. And I already had a really heavy workload. And I thought, challenge accepted. I'm not going to leave. This is what I'm going to do, because I'm going to prove to you, she didn't know me, and I'm going to prove to me that I can do this. And that's kind of the energy that I see around you during this time. It's like, I'm going to prove it. And really, seriously, it's just going to be so much better for you if you step back and say, what's going to make me happy? What's moving me forward? Because there is something here with the Three of Air. The Three of Air is the heartbreak, the pain, the disappointment, the Three of Swords that breaks our hearts, that has us proving to ourselves that we're not that person that gets to be bullied around anymore or that can't do things. And so it's going to color the way that you make your decisions during Mercury retrograde, because it's the way that you're hearing the words. It's also the subconscious self making itself be known, saying, I don't want to carry this baggage anymore. Because if you look at this pain and this hardship, you're going to start to see your world opening to you in a way that doesn't come from a place of lack, but comes from a place of abundance, that comes from a place of power and prosperity and insight and understanding. And what you're doing here is, instead of seeing yourself as having doors closed in your face, you're going to start seeing yourself as being able to maybe not get through that door, but definitely get through that window, or go the other route that has just such lovely things waiting for you. And so the world starts to open in a way that you hadn't anticipated, in a way that you hadn't seen before. And it opens up to you in a very powerful, understanding, and personal way, where you start to see yourself moving forward. And then it brings you to the Knight of Air, which is intelligent. Okay, this is decisive, there we go, idealistic, and tireless. You're embracing that energy in your inner self. It's like, I know what it is I want. You're very smart on the matter. You have this brilliance to you that is shining through, Scorpio. And this brilliance here, with you being a warrior of your mind, but also a warrior of your heart, is really helping you when it comes to what has brought you setbacks in the past, what has made you doubt yourself, what has made you overwhelmed, what has, made it feel like I just don't want to anymore. I don't want to face this anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. And here, there is a real sense of looking at your inner self, your mind, your passion, your desires, and your truth, the way you define yourself, and saying, this is it. This is where I want to be. This is how I want to move. And you're going to see a shift happening during this time. You're going to see a shift of the way that you see your own power. You're going to see a shift in the way that you're embracing your strength and your desires and your movement forward. And it's going to be really fighting for what it is that you want, what it is that you need, but not in a way that it's I'm going to prove this to anyone. It's in a way that says, I want to move forward like this for me, and I have to get out of my own way in order to do so. And so the thing is that's why the energy of the Prince of Wands is going to be so alluring to you, because it's going to be like, well, don't think about it, just do it. And during this time, you can put so much on your plate where it's like, don't think about it, just do it, just keep on pushing forward, that it becomes overwhelming for you, because you're going to have that tendency come forward very powerfully during this Mercury retrograde. And then we have the Empress. The Empress is this way of finding our inner power, finding that truth that has been hidden away, finding what we need to nurture within ourselves to get us to the place that we want to be. It's a decluttering of the world and a centering of the self. It's saying, you know what, the world can say A, B, or C. That's great, but I need this for me. I need to look at myself this way. I need to be empowered this way. I'm claiming this truth. I am moving forward in this prosperity. And as you do so, you start to really see what it is that you want from life. But you also start to see, and it can be kind of bittersweet, where if you just had a bit more faith in yourself, or if you hadn't been so hard on yourself, that you could have walked through that door earlier. And that's going to be one of the things that comes up during this retrograde. It's like, wow, I could have done this earlier. And what divinity is saying is that, no, this is the exact right time for you. And even though you're walking through the chaos and the muck and the mire, you're actually walking through a very gentle Mercury retrograde, because this retrograde is in Aquarius. And Mercury retrograde is very happy in Aquarius. So here, the problem that you have during this time is the aloofness. And that makes you feel disjointed from people. And Scorpio, in the negative sense of things, you can have a feeling of being disjointed from others, and that's just part of your personality. You see things a lot more deeply than others see things. Okay, you move on a different plane, and you move towards a different path than a lot of other people do. Now, that makes you very brilliant at being astoundingly spiritually aware and very evolving of self. But that can also make it feel like, wow, why don't I meet people who are like me? And it's because the people who are like you are also going to be rather quiet, okay, rather, they kind of keep these ideas to themselves. And so as you're moving forward in this understanding, you're going to see that you start to meet more people who start to align with the way that you see things, because you're just walking in that path. You're walking your truth, and people will either get it or they won't get it. They'll either like you for it or they just won't. And that's going to be a them problem. It's not going to be a you problem, because in your heart, you're looking at everything that you've worked for, everything that you've desired, and you're going to start to see yourself moving forward with this light shining on you, moving forward in this prosperity. And there's a sense of it taking tremendous strength to say, wow, I've earned this. Not this is owed to me, or, it better be like this, but I've earned this. I've worked hard for it. And the people who try and take away, this idea of success from me, that's not right. So I get to move forward in the passion of my truth, in the power of myself, in the determination of my soul, and I get to move to the place that I want to be. And this is going to be a time where you start to see yourself kind of, putting your toe in the water, seeing how is it that I want to, embrace this dream that I've always had, or how is it that I want to move forward. And there are going to be times where you get muddled. And it's muddled because you can be telling this to somebody, and you will have this happen, Scorpio. And I've had this happen a lot lately, where you're saying something and like you're agreeing with the person and the person's agreeing with you, but you guys are saying it differently. And so there gets to be like this bit of a fight, this bit of an argument where it's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that you're just not seeing that I'm agreeing with you. And then it becomes like a silly fight. But here, there's that energy of the heart where it's moving forward in your strength, and there's a need to assert that strength within you, assert that power, and not kind of just blend into the shadows. So that's going to be a very powerful thing for you during this time. And it moves you to the Knight of Waters. It moves you to you being very emotional, romantic, enthusiastic, and contemplative. It moves you also to being the hero of the story. You are defending what you need and how you want to move forward. You are looking at what it is that you desire, Scorpio, where it is that you want to be. And it's like no longer are you taking a passive role. You're really embracing what your heart wants, what your heart desires, what your heart is longing for. And you're moving forward in that truth, in that passion, in that determination, and in that focus. And it brings you to a rooted place within the heart that says, I can't be out of balance anymore. And so this Mercury retrograde, though it's a time of confusion, though it's a time of chaos within communication, and it isn't, the best time to be making really big decisions or anything like that, but, sometimes you just can't help it. The way that's really going to help you during this time is to be rooted within yourself, to sit there and say, I need my balance. I need to slow down everything that I'm trying to, handle, everything that I'm trying to juggle and be the best at. I need to slow down and say, this is me. This is what I desire for my life. This is what I want. I can start juggling everything, as time goes on. But I'm going to need to let some things fall, to almost think that I failed at some things. Not really failing, but it's like, I need to put this on the back burner. I can't be everything, every time, every way. And so here, it's stepping back and it's giving yourself that permission, but it's also finding that balance. And it's going to be so important for you. And it doesn't have to be all the time. It can just be one day where you're sitting there and you're saying, you know what? Why am I pushing this hard? Like, I can still achieve and succeed by not being so neurotic about it, like not being so engrossed by whatever it is that you're trying to balance. And then it puts it into perspective. And that's what you're going to need during this time, because in the public arena, you're facing a lot of chaos. With the Five of Wands, there's the sense of chaos for the sake of chaos. There's people who are just being ornery and disagreeable because they want to be, and because it makes them feel good. You could be dealing, if you're a parent or a person raising a child, you could be dealing with a sick kid, and oh my gosh, that's exhausting. You could be dealing with a person who, a partner who just doesn't feel well, and they're just ornery because they are, and you yourself might not be feeling that great, and so you might find yourself being ornery, and here it's like, just step back. Step back, because it's going to be so easy to start the sniping, start the fighting, start it. And to fall into that pattern during this time. It just really is, to sit there and be like, wow, that coworker, had to say it like that. They had to be like that. Seriously. And it's like there's a short fuse. There is a short fuse. And it's the sense of it can be easily lit and it can easily explode. And there's a need here to just say, no, I can't do this. And what's more important, I don't want to. I don't want this chaos. I don't want this hurt, this pain, this disappointment anymore. And it's looking at things, it's also looking within yourself. It's like, what is causing you chaos? What is making you feel overwhelmed? And then it's saying, okay, well, maybe I don't have to push that hard. Maybe I can just step back and start focusing on things in the present that will really embrace and help evolve my life and move me forward. So that's going to be really quite powerful. And that's going to be something that you're going to need to be mindful of in the public arena. Now, if you don't have kids or anything like that, with the Five of Fire, and I'm just saying this because my nephew's sick, and oh my gosh, he's usually delightful. He is not. And that's the image that Spirit is giving me right now. It's like that usually delightful person who is not delightful, who's angry, who's upset, who's, all this stuff. And that's what you're going to be dealing with during this time. And it can even be you yourself, like you're just spread too thin. And this is a time where you have to say, why am I doing this to me? Why am I pushing this hard? Or why am I not cutting myself the slack that I would cut anybody else? And so Scorpio, that's going to be so important. And as you kind of step back and you look at the chaos and you look at the fighting for fighting's sake, and you see everything that you're carrying, and that's what's also making the short fuse. It's like everything that you're carrying, everything that you want to achieve at. And there's a sense of it's so important that it's almost paralyzing. Like it's so important to move forward in this prosperity and in this success that you're going to see yourself say, I just can't. Like, because all of a sudden, like you've put so much stress upon your shoulders that it's like, oh my gosh, I just can't. And you step back and it's like, okay, breathe, calm down, and then move forward again. Because the 10 of Wands is the breaking point. It is the straw that broke the camel's back. And that's what you're going to be seeing. It's everything that everybody's demanding of you. It's everything everybody wants of you. And it's also everything that you're demanding of yourself. And it's putting the happiness, the joy, the kind of just letting yourself relax on the back burner. Or it can be that, you're making yourself so stressed out that all you can do is sit down on the couch and turn on the television and just let your mind let go and find out that you fall asleep, and then you wake up and you're like, oh my gosh, I still have everything to do. So here with the 10 of Wands, it's being a lot gentler with yourself. It's also knowing that people are going to put more and more on your shoulders, and there are going to be times where, there's miscommunication, because that's what Mercury retrograde is all about. There's miscommunication. People want things done at this time, at that time. They can have unrealistic time frames that they're setting up for you. And so here with the 10 of Fire, it's like everything that you're carrying, there needs to be a release. There needs to be a release so that you can move forward to the place that you need to be, and to light the fire, to have the passion burning in your life that you truly desire. And it leads you to life experience. And it leads you to the tower time. It's like things need to crumble in order for them to be rebuilt. And with the tower card, this is divinity kicking you out of your comfort zone. And we never like it, because we as human beings just don't. We never like it. It's always a bit more overwhelming than we want it to be. And this could be going on for 16 years, 16 months. But this can also be, like, since you were 16, focusing around the number of the card, yes. But it's also saying, like, it's been a heck of a long time. It's kind of like in, the Trojan War, when they say the war went on for 10 years. That was just ungodly long, and they couldn't even imagine it. So that's why it was put down. In the Bible, when they say they wandered for 40 years, you can believe that it was literally 40 years, but it was also such a long time that they couldn't imagine a longer time. So here, it's like, this is just such a long, arduous, burdening path. And you're sitting there and you're living it, and you're like, when is this going to end? When does it get to be my time? When do I get to have the joy? When do I get to start enjoying my life? And divinity is saying, I'm pushing you out of your comfort zone, because if I didn't push you, you would never get to where I want you to be. And it's such a hard thing. It's such a thing that is so very frustrating. And with the life experience, it's that life experience. It's the jobs that if you didn't have to take them, you never would have taken them. It's the people that if you didn't have to talk to them, you never would have talked to them. But it's an enriching of compassion, of understanding other people's strife, which is compassion, but also of the people you never want to emulate, the way you never want to be, the power of respect and kindness and, compassion in life. And that's what the tower teaches. It takes us down a road that at times, we never wanted to walk, but it leads us to a place that when we get there, it's like, oh, wow. And it can be years upon years down the road. It's like, oh, wow, it was worth it, wasn't it? Or that really did change the whole course of things, didn't it? And then it moves you to the gift of prosperity, success, and bounty, to the gift of the Ace of Earth, the Ace of Pentacles. The seed that is being planted, the power that is moving you forward, the passion that you have, the bounty that you want. It opens it up to you. And it's like, this is where I need to be. This is what I desire for my life. And it's this gift from divinity that can start off so small. But it's kind of like, an acorn. It starts off so small, but it grows into something so tremendously brilliant. And that's what this time is going to be for you. It starts off so small. It's just another time. And, we've been through such a tough year of 2020, and 2021 has been quite intense. And then you're going to start to see that there is a beauty growing. And it starts out small, but it keeps on growing and it keeps on becoming. So let's go deeper. Scorpio. How will a Scorpio be affected by Mercury retrograde? January 30th to February 21st, 2021. How will Scorpio be affected by Mercury retrograde? January 30th to February 21st, 2021. How will Scorpio be affected by Mercury retrograde? January 30th to February 21st, 2021. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides. Show me clearly. Guide this reading. Fantastic. We have here the Two of Swords, the Four of Cups, the Seven of Swords, the Dreamer, which is the Fool, the Queen of Pentacles, the King of Cups. So you move from being a knight within your heart to being a king, which is glorious. The Ten of Wands. Life experience, again, over life experience. So the Tower over the Tower. You are definitely pushed out of your comfort zone during this time, okay? No joke. And then you have the King of Spring, which is the King of Wands, the King of... You have fire sign energy here. So we have the Two of Winter, the Two of Swords, a path opening up after the heartbreak, and with the heartbreak, and as you start to see a new path forging forward for you within the world, you're going to start to see that there were two paths that you always thought you could walk, and then more paths start opening up to you. Now, the key is during this time is that there's going to be a part of you that wants to close the doors. There is going to be an instinct to kind of hold back and say, oh no, but I can't. Like, I can't move forward that way. Or I always knew the next shoe would drop. I always knew they were going to find out like I was a fraud or something like that. And I just can't do it. And it's that fear that comes forward. And we always fear this. And no matter what we do, we'll always fear that people will sit there and not think highly of us or not see us in the light that we desperately want to be seen in. In that successful, powerful, that you listen to actors and they say it all the time. Like, what if you find out that I'm a fraud? That type of thing. And this is a time where you start to say, no, this is my calling. This is my truth. Like, this is the way I need to walk forward. And the two paths that the world has opened for us, that they sit there and say, well, you could be A or you could be B. You're going to find that you don't want to be A or you don't want to be B. And you've been A or B. And you're like, it doesn't suit me. It doesn't suit me and I don't want it. And so you're going to start to see yourself moving forward in a way that really brings you towards your true talent, really brings you towards this beautiful, all-encompassing experience. And it moves you to a gift from divinity that you hadn't seen before, that had been so overwhelming, and that hadn't seemed like a gift when you got it, because you were looking at things a different way. And now you're opening to this idea, to this path forward, and it brings you to the Seven of Swords. It brings you to kind of lining things up and being a little bit more secretive during this time. So you might find yourself being more aloof, within this Aquarius, Mercury retrograde. And you're going to find yourself, sitting there and saying, how is it that I want to move forward? What is it that I desire? What is it that I'm building up for me to be able to open up these doors, to be able to move me forward? Because you need to follow your dreams. If you don't follow your dreams, life becomes very dull, like sepia colors, very just washed out. And it can become a little bit depressing after a while. And so here it's like, I need to take that step. I need to take that step and I don't want to take that step. And it can be overwhelming, especially during this time where you're going to see yourself needing to really call on that strength and really tell yourself, like, look at what I've created for me. Look at how I've moved forward. And it brings you to embracing the dreamer, to embracing the path, to being the hero of your story, to taking hold of it and saying, all right, I might not be always doing what I want to do when I want to do it. But there is a power in me moving forward, and I am following my hero's path. I am following the path to my truth. I'm embracing the hero story. And the hero story is always played with strife until you get there, until it's discovered, until, all of a sudden the sword is pulled out of the stone. All of a sudden, you find out that you're a wizard and you can move forward, and you can be so much more until you find the ring and get put on this quest. And there's just power here. And that's why that motif continuously repeats within our beloved stories. King Arthur, Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, which were the ones that I was referring to before. You find that you're starting to move forward in that way, in that sense of embracing the imagination, in that sense of, opening up the doors and really embracing what you want from life. And you start moving forward towards those goals. And that leads you to this generosity of spirit. There's this stylishness about you, this graciousness, this practicality as you are a knight, and as you are claiming the throne of your abundance, as you are moving forward in your prosperity and saying, this is what I want from life. This is where I need to be. And there's a sense here that within your heart, people are seeing a richness to you that, Scorpio, you yourself don't see. You're going to think like, oh, that's so silly, or, oh my gosh, you can't possibly think that, come on. But there's a power here, and there's a power that you're embracing that really does move you forward. And it brings you to the king of summer. It brings you to being the king of you, which is honorable, devoted, mature, and warm-hearted. It's a king of love. It is a person of power and compassion and understanding and purpose and truth. And it's when you balance and when you remember that you matter, because a lot of times, the world just becomes so intense and we forget that we ourselves matter. You're going to find that you're claiming that path again, and you're claiming that grounding truth within yourself. And it's really understanding that the only person you can ever rule over is you. And you can't control any other emotions than the emotions that you yourself have. And that is very hard, but it is also very powerful. And then you have here the 10 of spring, the 10 of wands, over the 10 of wands and the 5 of fire. It's like, enough is enough. I need to release the burdens that I am carrying. I need to move forward in this truth. It says right here, asking for help for others. And I don't read the bottoms because, oh my gosh, that would take forever to read the bottom of each card and then to, move forward that way. And so here, Spirit just said, look at it. It says, ask for help for others, all work and no play. Yeah, being weighted down. And that's what you're going to see here. It's the being weighted down. It's the sense of all the joy being sucked out of life. And you're sitting there and saying, enough, I'm done with this. I don't want this. And you might say, well, that's not a very mature way of looking at things. You have to uphold your responsibilities. You have to keep on moving forward. Absolutely. You do have to uphold your responsibilities. I am a firm believer in that. And you have to keep on moving forward. But if it's with just no hope in sight, if it's just one foot in front of the other, one gray day after another gray day after another gray day, and it will never end, that's what breaks the human spirit. And divinity is really saying during this time, stop and look at the joy, look at the laughter, bring it in. If you need to stop the routine and, go out, get a cup of coffee, drink it in your car, bring it home, whatever it is or drink it on a walk. If you live in a really cold climate, like I do, you might find that your coffee cools down, or your tea, as I prefer, cools down rather quickly. But it's just to break up the monotony of things. And it's to be able to embrace the beauty of your world. And if you're not feeling comfortable going outside, that's totally cool. But there are things that you need to do, like put on a TV show that makes you just cry with laughter, to be able to have that spark come back into your life, to have that beauty bring you forward. It's going to be so important because you've been through such a trying time. And this time period, yes, the whole world has been through a trying time. And yes, it adds to the life experience, but it also weighs heavily upon our shoulders. And especially if, life wasn't going so smoothly before all this happened, it's just one more thing that is completely out of your control. And so here with life experience, we need life experience. It makes us richer as people in the art of living, in this discovery and passion and beauty of life. But there's also sitting here and saying, I am moving forward in my truth, and I have to keep my truth at my center. I have to be true to me. And as you open up that door, as you open up that truth, as you embrace that power, you're going to start to see that divinity has pushed you out of your comfort zone for a reason. That things have tumbled down because maybe the foundation wasn't that great to begin with. Things have tumbled, and now it's time to rebuild. Not through strength, not through because I said so, but out of love and compassion for yourself and for the life that you want. And it leads you then to the King of Spring, to the King of Wands. This is innovative, inspiring, wise, and theatrical. It's like claiming the life that you want and being center stage and saying, this is me. This is who I am. This is who I need to be. This is how I'm moving forward, period, end of discussion. And there's a power to that. And people are going to see that power more than they're going to see all the burdens that you are carrying. The way that you're like, enough is enough. I just can't do this anymore. And so that can also be really aggravating because they see the gifts that are coming your way. They see the way that you are handling yourself, and they're rather like, oh, well, Scorpio has this under control. And so they can come to you and complain all the time. They can come to you and just put more upon your shoulders. And this is going to be when you need to say, no, enough is enough. Enough is enough. I'm dealing with all that I can right now. And it doesn't mean being snappy or mean or, anything like that to anybody. It means standing up for yourself and just being truthful to you. And it can be being snappy with some people at times, sometimes that just happens, but it's being true to you. And that's going to be so important during Mercury retrograde, because you're going to feel like your words are tumbled, You're going to feel like people are going to think that you're selfish because you're taking care of yourself. You're going to feel all these things, and you're not going to want to let anybody down. But the person who you can't let down during this time, and that it's going to be so important that you stand by that person, is yourself. And now let's see what your spirit animals have to say. How will Scorpio be affected by Mercury retrograde, January 30th to February 21st, 2021? How will Scorpio be affected by Mercury retrograde, January 30th to February 21st, 2021? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides, angels. Ooh, 4. Fantastic. So we have here the wasp spirit. Sometimes life stings. And because you have a double tower here, you are definitely aware that sometimes life stings. And it's sometimes from the stings, even though when we're living in moments in our lives where it hurts and it's overwhelming and it's like too much, we don't think that this will ever be a lesson that we look back on and are thankful for. But you're going to find that this becomes a real way that like doors start to open to you, ideas start to open to you, power starts to open to you. And it's not just sometimes your life stings. Sometimes, everybody's life stings. Again. Everybody gets overwhelmed. And so here, that's very important. It's one of my favorite cards because it's not like it's something that you've done wrong. It's not like you're being punished. It's like, shit happens and that's just it. Sometimes life stings. Sometimes life stinks, and that's just part of life. And then it moves you to the vulture spirit. Nothing is wasted. Nothing that you have been through, nothing that you have overcome, nothing that you have had to deal with is by accident. Nothing is wasted. It all holds a purpose within your life, within the elevation of your soul, within the power of your purpose. And it leads you then to the frog spirit. Clear out the clutter of doubt. It could just be the clutter in general, the clutter in your mind. Clear out the clutter and focus on your divine path, on your way forward, of the kindness and the beauty within you. And it brings you to the lion spirit. Be generous of spirit, because there is power in the generosity, in the giving. It's not just to everybody else, but also to yourself. Your subconscious spirit animal message is the outer spirit. You are never alone. Your angels, your spirit guides are always around you. You have the otters, these 2 otters here, making up the heart. You are loved and you are cherished. Know that. You are never alone. Sometimes, if your house is full and everything like that, you might want to be alone at times. But it is being deeply and powerfully cherished. Your subconscious person message is the Queen of Swords. Know your mind, know what it is that you want, and hold true to yourself. Yes, there will be confusion with words, with, doubts and fears, and you can see that very clearly within your inner self, or there's a sense of questioning everything, not wanting to offend anybody, sitting there saying, oh, did I do the right thing? Didn't I? Know your truth. Sit in your truth. Sit in your element. Be you, and say, that's the best that I can do. That is the best that I can do, and that is the power that moves me forward. It brings you then to your subconscious chakra message, which is soul healing. You're actually going to see that this Mercury retrograde heals a lot that your subconscious has been holding onto, and it heals a lot within your soul, a very powerful way forward for you. It moves you then to your subconscious tarot message, which is the Seven of Fire, the Seven of Wands. It's that knowing when to fight and when to walk away, who to give your energy to, and who to say, oh, you're just not even worth my time. And so during this time, a lot of things can get to your blood boiling, but it's that understanding that I can't rise to every occasion. Like, I can't, fight every fool. I have to keep moving forward in my truth and only fighting the battles that are really important to me. If not, people are going to be stealing your energy left and right. And then finally, to go deeper, we have release, which is the Devil card. And this is a release from what has held you back. Not the Devil card, the Death card. This is a release from the old self to be embracing the new self. This is the release that sets you free, that guides you forward, and that embraces you. And you are embracing that release. It's also that release from thinking that, you have to fight every battle, that, you can't just let things go, because this is going to be a time where you really do need to conserve your energy, fight what's important, and let the rest go. All right, Scorpio, I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I am sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as you embrace change, like you never have seen it before, but as it moves you forward in a powerful and brilliant way. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Scorpio.